Is this the final stage of wakefulness? Close your eyes. Grab a hold of all cognitive and emotional, social and cultural dials. Tune them to the optimal positions. Who would you want to be?
Hi, I'm Rowan. I'm so excited that you're going to be doing a bunch of video next year and beyond. As a video guy, I've always wanted to see what waking up would look like at 24 conceptual frames per second. I would be gratefully elated to join your team and help build this new operating system for the mind. This video has 4 parts to it. The first is a frame of reference, putting it all in perspective. The second part is an amuse-bouche of ideas I've thought up for waking up since last week when you sent out the email call to action. The third part is about a broader notion of the potential of waking up, drawing on the brilliant ideas of Brett Victor about humane representations of thought, in which he mentions how Leibniz's notation of calculus as a user interface is what unleashed its expressive power to scientists and engineers. I mentioned the analogy of waking up creating a notation for a calculus of consciousness as interfaces to the operating system of the mind. Part 4 gives some background on me and why I would love to contribute to the project in any way I can. If nothing else, hopefully this video will spark some ideas for you. And now, speaking of ideas, over this past week, I've had a ton of ideas flood in about possibilities for waking up content development, and I only have enough time to mention a few here. To say nothing of the blossoming landscape of computational creativity tools that are rapidly approaching prime time, also the metaverse. But that's another conversation. Here's a few ideas for waking up. David White poetry animations in a variety of colorful and visually enchanting styles, like the wolf vision scenes in Wolf Walkers, Dan Deacon's When I Was Done Dying, blank-on-blank style animations of conversational or solo content on waking up. A spiritual development kit for customized paths to insight. No matter where you are, from a crisis in psyche to mudita magnification, it's your path, build it, and be it. Analogy-ography, a conceptual cartography of the insight landscape, told through myriad metaphors so there's something for everyone. An example is the swimming-drowning dichotomy and how a subtle shift can make all the difference. Shots of wisdom, Jason Silva-style videos where complementary moments of waking up content are woven together into visually and conceptually engaging explosions of wisdom. A filament of cross-pollinated content between making sense and waking up for self-transcendence as a psychological immunotherapy for the glioblastoma that is identity politics.
There is simply no contradiction between deep insight into the nature of mind and getting our shit together out in the world. That tirade was brought to you by Waking Up, a meditation app.
You know, a sense of humor always tells you that whatever context you've arranged for yourself, there's always another context that makes your context absurd.
We still have a preference between excruciating plunge into civil war and needless misery and psychedelics. There's other ways to react to a burning bear. If you take acid, it can be quite literal. And then when I came down to the point where I could recognize who I was staring at, it was a cover of TV Guide with Dick Van Dyke looking completely maniacal.
There's a relentless impermanence to existence. Everything is always changing. Calculus, the operating system for studying change, has powered hundreds of years of science and engineering. That creativity was unleashed by Gottfried Wilhelm
Leibniz's notation for the calculus. Leibniz was the UI designer of the 17th century, obsessed with notation, always trying out different notations, talking with his friends about notation, because he realized a lot of the power in an idea lies in the form in which it's expressed, because that's what allows people to think it. And in almost any given field, you can kind of go in there and find a particular form of representation which transformed or ignited the field. So the periodic table is basically the beginning of a theory of chemistry. Bohr's model of the atom, Faraday's representation of magnetism as lines of force, Maxwell, and Heaviside's representation of the vector basically powered 100 years of physics. So when you're thinking of the great ideas of history, often what you really want to be thinking about is the great representations that enabled people to think those ideas,
There really is a power in certain thoughts. The conceptual frame we put around experience matters.
The pandemic set off a beautiful opportunity to caretake my 96-year-old grandma and spend her final days together. She lived more fully in the present moment than anyone I've ever known, and she had the most extraordinary life because of it.
You know, we can really get how absolutely precarious this life is. I think we also come into contact with just how precious this life is. And then we don't want to waste a moment. Jump in with both feet, tell the people we love that we love them.
Ever since my first short film in high school, I've explored myriad media modalities and lines of work, collecting different ways to approach and to answer a simple question. What is worth working on over a lifetime? I believe it's something with durability, something with reach, empowering people to live their best lives possible. I believe Waking Up is that project, and I would love to throw all of my creativity and energy into being a part of helping you build it.
The gratitude that arises from being gifted this opportunity to exist in this playground of consciousness, the wonder, and then recognizing that all conscious beings share that. We are in this together. We need to take care of ourselves and one another if we're going to survive as a species. And there's something just so uplifting about that.
You've got this one opportunity to fall in love with existence. So why not relax and enjoy your life?